What's going on, everybody? Chadley here, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you guys a melee pyro build that, in all honesty, absolutely slaps, pun intended. But I'm not kidding you guys, I am completely blown away by the damage output of this build, and also I've had zero issues soloing CT15s for gold, including Boomtown. I've done that several times with relative ease. And say a map like Marshland Caverns, that's honestly one of my least favorite expeditions. I had a pretty darn easy time blowing through that expedition with this build. At the end of the video, for the gameplay examples, I will be showing off in Marshland Caverns so you guys can know exactly what I'm talking about right there. Also, the survivability on this build is kind of nuts. I pretty much never die. I just read chat the whole time if I'm playing this on stream, and I literally do not have to worry about dying. It's pretty cool. And then otherwise, this build is actually fairly easy to throw together. The main thing you need is the Acari set, but that's also kind of the case with any Anomaly Pyro build out there right now. But yeah, like always, I will be streaming at the time of posting this video, so if you guys want to come hang out on Twitch, hopefully I'll see you over there. Also, make sure you join up on the Discord for people to play Outriders with. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're enjoying the Outriders content. But otherwise, let's go ahead and jump right into this build video. So starting off with our main skills that we're going to be using with this build. So we're going to be using Heat Wave, Ash Blast, and Feed the Flame. So Heat Wave is going to do a couple things for us. One, obviously proc up the Acari set. And then also it's going to debuff enemies for us and also just set them on fire. Everything is just going to help us survive, deal damage all in one with Heat Wave. And then we're going to be rocking Ash Blast for proccing one of the Anomaly boost nodes in our skill tree, and also a tier 3 mod that we're using. And then finally, Feed the Flames is really good for also proccing that same AP bonus in our skill tree. And then also it just has a very low cooldown of 9.5 seconds. So it's just more skill uses that we can do to proc another one of our mods. But now onto our gear. Our weapons that we're going to be using is the Roaring Umbra with Fortress. This is just great for extra damage while you guys are in close range. Also, this thing has status power on it, which is going to help your burns do more damage, which is really nice. And then also we're going to be using the Anomaly with Moaning Winds and Fortress. Now, what you guys are going to do with this is just empty the magazine and then swap off that weapon. And then anytime you need to proc Moaning Winds, swap to this weapon, let it go off, and then swap back to your Roaring Umbra, and you guys will be good to go. You'll never have to reload this, and it will always be good to go to proc Moaning Winds whenever you need to. And then finally, for our pistol, it really doesn't matter which one you use. I like to just chuck Shadow Comment on there in case I need to take out like a rifleman or a marksman sitting in the back of the map, slowing down my runs. Also, just to show why the Roaring Umbra is a little bit better for us, the Death Shield only has Weapon Life Leech, healing received, and close range damage. None of those things are going to help us out with this build, so the Roaring Umbra having status power on there is actually really nice. Now moving on to our armor, we're obviously using the Acari set, and on the Acari helmet, I'm pretty much using what I always use with Fire Tsunami and Burnt Out. The chest piece, I'm using Death Sentence. This comes from the Torturer's helmet. That way, when we proc Ash Blast, we get our Anomaly boost from a skill tree, and also we're going to be doing 30% more Anomaly damage to all of the enemies that are affected by it, so that's actually a big damage bonus. And then the chest piece still has the innate tidal wave on here. Now, I did want to give you guys a couple alternatives to Death Sentence if you do not have it. So one would be Unstoppable Force. This is going to work with the capstone in our build. So we are going to get more Anomaly once we activate our heat waves and we get that resistance piercing. Power Assimilation is actually very nice too, depending on what maps you're playing. So Frontline, this is going to help you guys out a ton. Now, I've also given Twice as Hot a couple goes on this build, and it honestly does not really do that much. But if you just don't have anything else, this could be an option for you just for a little bit of extra damage. Also, with the guns we're using, we can actually get some use out of this mod right here, and it's going to give you some more resistance piercing. Also, it's going to pair with our capstone as well. So that is another fantastic option in case you guys do not have Death Sentence. Now, moving down to the pants is the waist cloth of the Acari. We're using Anomaly Echo, which is innately on here. And then we're going to throw Captain Hunter. This is just really nice for that single target damage on elites. And then for our gloves, I'm using Bullet Kindling. This is just an overall 20% damage boost to everybody who's burning, which is very nice. And then also a skill that you guys are going to want to have is Martial Arts. This is going to allow you guys to melee more often, and that's also going to proc one of the mods that's on our boots way more often, and in turn deal way more damage. So that mod I'm talking about is Untamed Power. This is going to scale off your Anomaly power, and with the Acari set and our skill tree, this is going to boost up very, very high, and Untamed Power will be your top damaging source with this build. It's going to just shred through any single target you are close to, and obviously if other enemies group around you, it's going to destroy them as well. So you don't really have to worry about like ad clear. If you just focus on the elites, everything else will just kind of run towards you and you'll be able to passively take them out. Now, the reason Untamed Power is going to do so much damage for us is that every single skill we cast, obviously it's going to proc and do that damage, but then also every single time we melee, it's going to proc as well. So if you guys are doing a melee in between all of your skill casts, you're going to get so many uses out of Untamed Power, and that damage is going to rack up so quickly. Then finally, the one thing that you're going to want for survivability, it's going to allow you to just do pretty much whatever you want and not die, is Emergency Stance. It's just so good for survivability. And also it is still bugged right now where it's always just going to be active after the first time it procs. If that ever gets fixed or anything like that, Emergency Stance I'll probably replace for Damage Absorber. But yeah, here's the overview of all of our armor. Our passives that we're going to want to be shooting for on our purples is Anomaly Power, Cooldown Reduction, and Status Power. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the skill tree here. As you can see, it is a middle tree build. It's going to allow us to tank and also get a lot of extra damage out of the build. And then some keynotes, we are going to be grabbing Marble Orchard here. So that's going to reduce the cooldown of our Feed the Flames and Ash Blast, allow us to get Death Sentence more, and also proc Hot Situation more often. That's a 45% Anomaly Power bonus for 10 seconds. And if you guys space these out correctly, you will always have this bonus active. Some other notes, we are grabbing Wildfire because that's going to decrease the cooldown of our Feed the Flames and Ash Blast. And then our Heat Wave is already low enough, so we're able to actually skip this warm-up, and then the point that we normally put here, we are putting into Wildfire. And then Extinction is really nice for just taking out weak enemies. You're just going to be doing a lot of instances of damage, so this is actually going to be in play quite often. And then other big notes is Incinerate, so when burn ends, you're going to inflict Ash. This is really nice for keeping enemies at bay passively. And then also Magma Elemental for that resistance piercing. Now to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about with the tankiness of this build right here, there are a bunch of alphas, and for whatever reason wouldn't let me cast my ability there, but now we're good. And all you got to do is seriously just get right in the face of all the enemies, and you guys will just be able to destroy them. Just keep shooting your Umbra in between melees, and otherwise making sure you're hitting your melee buttons. And when you need to do a lot of damage, just go ahead and focus on the big targets. And then also, if you did what I said earlier with the Anemo, you can also get the Moaning Winds to be going every time you swap to that weapon after those 8 seconds. But yeah, here you can see I just took a full hit from the Broodmother, and we're already good to go. Right here, the Broodmother is already at half health. It's pretty ridiculous how much damage you can do and also tank at the same time. Now, this build isn't going to break any sort of speedrun records, but it is incredibly reliable for getting CT15 gold. So that's honestly one of the reasons I like this thing so much. It's just so much fun to play, and you just do so much damage for little to no effort, and the survivability on top of that is just ridiculous. Right here, these crawlers can't really do a thing. Occasionally you will get knocked down a little bit. Just keep trying your best to get up, punch them. You can cancel out some of the knockdowns if you punch at the right time. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much everything with this melee pyro build. I seriously do love this build. It's one of the most fun pyro builds in my opinion. Also, it just does so well. But anyways, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up on it to let me know. Also, consider subscribing for more Outriders content. Like I said at the start of the video, I will be streaming as this video goes live, so hopefully I'll see you over on Twitch. But I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.